Altered Earth. Somehow, reaching the end of the passage, everyone's consciousness transmits into a white, remote-use pod. Snow falls on white buildings resembling the structures in the cage. It is not the Earth anyone recognizes. Standing out in the center of the city-like collection of structures is a great domed building. According to 10H's data, the enemy is in that dome. Pod draws near to the dome to investigate. Then, a red radar-like beam hits Pod, and heavy attacks fire out. The anti-air defense system installed on the birdcage releases a fierce attack, and Pod barely evades. She moves out of targeting range and plans how to disable the defense system. Him and her. Mama wonders why does the Earth mimic how the cage looks. But that's backwards. The cage mimics the Earth. That was why the cage once took on the form of a paradise. But now, white towers similar to those in the cage cover the Earth. There must be some other reason why. They arrive below the turret that was firing at them. They first must disable the anti-air system and find an access point. Pod gains access. The stored records inside wash over her. They are the memories of how the city came to be. Before the birdcage appeared, in this place stood a quantum server in the shape of a great tree. The server held the data of humanity, now extinct, and was overseen by administrative programs called him and her. Their duty was to observe, again and again, the history of humanity up until their extinction. They were given no other duty, so they could not intervene, and they tasted bitter, endless grief. However, they believed. They believed humanity had the power to defy its fate. All of their hope was held in this wish. The young girl who traveled the cage with the monster says this story reminds her of themselves. The monster lost his memory and cannot understand the sentiment, but he does not reject it. The white-haired girl. Pod disables the anti-air system and enters the birdcage. Mama again sees records wash over her. This record is of a white-haired girl confronting him and her. The girl is a replicant, a reproduction of humanity. In her quest to save the life of her replicant friend, she entered the quantum server. Him and her understood. Their wish for the revival of humanity seemed possible through this girl, even as she was destroying the data in the quantum server. In the fierce battle over survival and rebirth, the two programs faced their doom. But in him welled up a feeling of joy. He saw the hope to save humanity in the girl. However, they miscalculated. Even though the pair were disintegrated in the battle, Her survived and was faced with an eternity in the broken, desolate server, alone. The Girl in Red. Her wandered the dark, broken quantum server alone. Several thousands of years passed until one day, the light of history playing out shone again. What Her saw took place 10,000 years after the extinction of humanity. It was the record of machine life forms invading Earth and finding defeat at the hands of humanity's androids. Surely, someone must be repairing the broken server. Her considered this as she proceeded forward and met a girl dressed in red. Her knew the true nature of the Girl in Red. She was the visual manifestation of the will that germinated in the machine lifeform information transfer network. But with the defeat of the machine lifeforms, the Girl in Red slowly deteriorated. She felt loneliness. Her, who lost him, felt the same. The fact that Her felt lonely, the fact that the Girl in Red felt lonely, it was all humankind's fault. Before, they would have been enemies, but Her absorbed into herself the Girl in Red and took on the color of hatred. If solitude caused the suffering of loneliness, it would be better if no one ever developed any bonds at all. So thought Her, who suffered the loss of him. After Her remade Earth with the power of the Girl in Red, she began an attack on the cage. Through chat, she gave orders to her subordinates and manipulated the siblings into opening the passage. That was how the cage faced destruction. Prayer. Those summoned from weapon stories view Her history as they delve deeper into the birdcage. The young girl's heart aches at her sorrow, and she reveals to the monster she wishes to be her friend. The monster does not understand this feeling, but he has a faint impulse to help her with this wish. The girl and the monster arrive at the depths of the digital space and, by chance, meet Her. Behind her bland expression hides hatred. The young girl asks if Her is simply lonely and afraid of making new friends. Her voice suddenly grows harsh, and she rains her anger down upon them. The girl and the monster cannot handle the attack, and they fall to their knees. All of Her plans were meant to lead to salvation, but everything she believed up to now is shaken by the words from the young girl. At the climax of the desperate battle, Her attempts to seal the young girl in eternal chains. But at that moment, the monster recalls all his memories from his travels with the young girl. Her words saying she wanted to be friends. The image of her face smiling kindly. They come back to him, vivid and clear. The monster focuses the power welling up in himself, directs it at Her, and ends the battle.
女の力が有効化されない。
俺たちには守らなければならないものがあるからだ。
そうだ、他の分岐に逃げればもう一度こいつらを。
With her power gone, she creates a seal around herself and begins to flee, but Fio cries out. She wishes to be friends with her. And with that prayer, the long parting between the girl and the monster begins.